Woo, 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 woo. Woo, woo. Hello, welcome. Hello, Small. That's adorable. Small. Does Solar have has icons on their stream, on their what do you call it? Their Twitch now? That's really cool. I'm gonna lift this up a little bit because I feel like I'm looking down at you. Hello, Tatum Pancakes. Welcome, Tatum Pancakes. Oh, hello, hello. Thank you, Tatum Pancakes, for resubscribed
for 26 months. Most amazing 26 months of my life, you woo.
Thank you, Tatum.
Costumadun just resubscribed for 21 months.
Oh, thank you.
It's my night off and I can visit.
Oh, that's wonderful. That's a wonderful costume. And thank you for resubscribing.
One Grumpy Lican just resubscribed for 13 months.
Thank you, Grumpy Leica, for resubscribing. Lucky number 13 you're on.
Pudgethefisho93 just resubscribed for 11 months. Hello. I hope you and everyone in chat are doing well. Ziggbee heart hug.
Oh,
Ziggbee
that's so
heart
sweet.
hug.
Thank you. Thank you, Pudge the Fish, for subscribing for 1 month. Tier 1 and being subscribed for 11 months and the lovely message you sent. Let me see who else is in chat. Hello to Grumpy Like, and hello Taylor, Miss Janet. Hello.
2024
It's great to see you. Great to see you too.
Love you,
Hi Ziggbee. Hello. How you doing? I'm doing pretty good, little space pigeon. I'm doing pretty good.
Gifted Axolata subscription. Peach Ring Rat gifted a tier 1 sub to Axolata.
Oh my goodness.
They have given 32 gift subs in the
That's
channel.
a lot of gifted subs. Thank you to Bingus2024 for resubscribing, being subscribed for 17 months. Love you platonically. Love you platonically too. Thank you. Featuring Rat, thank you for gifting a 1 month tier 1 subscription to Axolate. Thank you. Actually, Axolate, I'm gonna show one of your art pieces that you just showed in Discord. What we're gonna do today? Whoa! Oh, Solar's here too. Hello, Solar. Hello, Strawberry. I'm like yelling like you can't hear me, like you're far away. Hello, can you hear me? What we're gonna do today, oh my gosh, is I'm gonna thank everyone for gifting this stuff.
Zazzy_ferret just resubscribed for 19 months. Yay. I like Twitch better than TikTok.
You do?
My comments. And thank you for all you
That's
do.
true. That is true. Oh my gosh, Peachy Rat, thank you for the direct tip as well. That's huge. Thank you so much. That's very generous of you. Thank you. Thank you, Peachy Rat. I hope Ape Ranger's doing good too. Let's see here. Did I thank you, Peaching Rat? I did thank you for the gifted sub. Thank you. That's very kind of you to do. And Zazzy Ferret, thank you for resubscribing at 1 month tier 1. And I hope you're doing good as well. Zazza Ferret. You like Twitch better.
Muse just resubscribed
I feel like more pressure on Twitch for some reason.
Yo, it's been a fun journey.
Yo, it's been... I don't think I've ever heard you say that, Muse. Yo, it's been a fun journey. Thank you, Unknown Muse, for resubscribing 1 month tier 1 and being subscribed for 23 long months. That's almost completely 2 years of subscription, which is pretty ludicrous to think about. Facts, Zazzy. What does Zazzy say? Because Zazzy prefers Twitch better than TikTok. It is pretty much Wild West on TikTok, but it is at least you get found there a little bit. Let's see here. Peach Rank. Ape Ranger is good. He's getting ready for a Magic the Gathering tournament tomorrow. How exciting! How exciting! I tried that. This music is getting pretty wild. I tried that once a long time ago. I wasn't probably very good at the game though. And you go to like a comic book shop or store, and you pay a fee to join, and they give you like a starter deck and I think a couple boosters possibly, and you get to make your deck on the spot. But I don't know if you're for a tournament. You might be able to choose your cards, which is very cool. It seems so complicated though.
Fox noises and Fox squeezes love being a triple beam Twitch, TikTok and Discord. Poor Prince, Fox.
Oh, thank you, Sky. Thank you, Sky, for resubscribing 1 month tier 1 and being subscribed for 27 months. And the wonderful message, I might repeat actually, 27 months, wow. Has time flown?
5 subs.
Love oh my gosh, what are you doing? That's a lot. I love everyone platonically, of course. Fox noises and Fox squeezes. Love being a triple bean Twitch, TikTok, Discord. Is that too much? I'll just keep adding more stuff with separate subscriptions. Sounds bad though. Thank you for being a supporter, Sky, and being around for so long too. Thank you very much. And Costumed One with the huge 5 subscription gift drop. Thank you for that. And let's see some lucky people who got it. Taylor got it. Melee Mona. Let's see. Sabari got it. Saul got it too. And the Hassle. Good. Wow. Congratulations, everyone who got a free subscription thanks to the generosity of Costumed One. Thank you, Costumed Kiwi. Thank you very much for giving gifted subs. That's a lot of subs to give out. Sugar Bean got to do what Sugar Bean does. The Sugar Beans are pretty incredible. No joke, for reals. Small, my sub's gonna expire in 6 minutes and it won't let me renew it. Are you trying to ask someone to sub you? Wait, that sounded weird. So give you a subscription? Azazi says to Solar, and you don't need
Page Mustang just
1,000 followers to stream,
months.
and it's
Hi,
much
Ziggbee.
calmer on
You really
here.
are amazing, and I thank you for doing
That is
everything
true.
you do less than 3.
Hi, Ziggbee. You really are amazing, and I thank you for doing everything you do. Thank you, Page Mustang. And hello, Page Mustang. Thank you for 1 month tier 2. Being super fancy. And being subscribed for 7 months. I think tier 2. Wow, that's really incredible. Hi, Ziggbee. I read the thing twice, didn't I? I'm going to read it twice by mistake. So what we're doing today, just so you know, I'm going to show a couple of fan art pieces. Some very generous things were sent in the P.O. box. And also do a little bit of what hashtag a sponsor, it's not sponsorship, but promotion about Werewolf Billy and myself. I'm going to show merch. Well, come on. It's kind of there, but you may not know where to find it, so I'm going to show that too. We'll probably do one quick story. If you haven't been watching me on TikTok, last night I tried something kind of new. I streamed late in the evening, and I did like a story, like little short stories with morals, which is kind of fun. So I'll do one here to give you an example, and I might do it again on TikTok in the future because it was kind of fun. It allows the viewers to give like input, like an animal or something that makes us can make a whole story out of it really quick. What else was I talking about? Oh, Pictionary. We might play a different version of Pictionary. It might be a little bit like charades, a little bit, where I'm allowed to say, maybe I'll say just for fun, because I want to do a couple words. We'll do like 13 words maybe. Oh, lucky number 13, which is unusual, I know, but why not to give it a try and see what happens, you know? But we'll do that. And what else is there? Is that it? I think that's it, everybody. Hi, Miss Janet. Hello, Miss Janet. Well, it won't be real Pictionary though. It's gonna be like charades, I think. I won't draw probably as much. Woo! How's Sib feeling? Sib is feeling pretty good. Sib is just taking it easy for the most part. Doing work, and he's doing good. He's doing way better than he was. He was not doing so great when he wasn't feeling well, but yeah, he's doing way better now. Hopefully he'll be up to joining me sometime, hopefully. If he wants to, there's no pressure because he does work during the week typically. Okay, first thing. Let's look at some stuff. Ready to see some stuff? I haven't done the stream on Twitch for like weeks. So there's quite a backlog of stuff to show a little bit. You ready? Let's see. Let's see if I can do this right. I've done this for a while. The first thing I'm going to show is fan art. And the first fan art we're going to show is none other than Small's fan art. On Twitter, that's Small404, and Small actually streams now too. Sometimes she plays some cool games and stuff. I think I always forget what days people stream on. I think Small sometimes streams on Saturdays. Is that right? I think so, or around there. You can shout out Small what day you stream on. If you're gonna stream this week, what day and time roughly if you want. But this is adorable. Look at Small made. She made beautiful Zigbees. Aren't they cute? That's very cute. We actually included some of Small's drawings like this as stickers for fun too, which are adorable. Solar says 7 p.m. Eastern. Saturday, 7 p.m. Eastern time. There you can see Small on Saturday if you want to. It's a very chill, fun little stream. Small has a comforting voice too. Thank you, Small, for making more fan art and letting me share it on the stream. We have just one more fan art to share. This is from oh my gosh, can you see that? The name, there you go. Axolate did this art piece. It's of Sib, adorable Sib. This is a really good drawing, by the way. It's so cute. You did a really good job capturing Sib's adorable face. I'm not sure if Axolate is, wait, Axolate is here, right? Didn't I say? Yeah, you subscribed, right? Let's see here. My brain sometimes is very forgetful. I swear I saw something about that. Small midnight. Got a yeet. Oh gosh, thank you for the redeems. Yes, I'll have to look at that. Redeems here. Yeet. I have nothing to yeet here. What can I yeet here? Let me look over here really quick. I think everything's like bolted to the floor. It's kind of like a hotel situation where they bolt the picture frames and everything down so people don't wreck stuff. Is there anything I can throw? I don't think. Wait. There's a statue. Does the statue drop? No, it does not. It just floats magically. I'll have to go somewhere else to do the yeet. So I'm going to put that on hold, Strawberry. If I go to a place, I'll yeet it. But if I take too long, I'll just credit you back to the points there. They knew you yeet things? Yeah, I think so. I think I'm not the only one that does it, though. Picture's so cute. It's very cute. Thank you for making this, Axolate, and letting me share it on there. I know I didn't ask you directly, but you did include your Discord name, which means you give me permission to share it, and I was like, okay, I'll just share it then. I was doing this last minute, setting the stuff up, really, basically. And after that, we have some things that were gifted, or some wonderful gifts. As you know, last month was my birthday, and Sib's birthday too. We both have the birthday in the same month. We have a birthday in the same month. Sib's the 7th, and mine's the 25th. And Tammy Beans was very generous. Tammy Beans always is spoiling me. Gave me a very generous and adorable card, and here it is. I'll show it to you and read you what's on there. It's like it's not a small card either. I can't talk. It's a huge card. It's like as big as a piece of paper. It says, "It's your birthday. Time to go all out. Nip some ankles. Poo in the wrong spot. Take a long nap in the underwear or sock drawer." And on the envelope there, Tammy used her very fancy stamps of Sib and of me from Werewolf Billy that he made, and put it all over the place, which is really cool. Also very generous gift cards there, as you can see. Also See's Candy. I want to order See's Candy so bad for Sib and myself, but I have to wait till it gets cooler or it'll melt during the summer heat. So I have to wait till it gets a little bit cooler before I can use that gift card, unfortunately. Also says on there, "Happy birthday. Happy birthday, the bestest boy." Thank you. Or, the message continues. The card says, "Or, you know, whatever it is you humans or ferrets do for fun. Love, platonically, of course, Tamma Beans." Aw, and it says there for Sib. But wants to make sure I give Sib some stuff too for his birthday as well. Isn't that so cool? I really want to order See's Candy so bad. But, Mama Sib ordered it once during like when it was hot, and all the candy was kind of melted in the box, and I was like, oh. So I have to wait till maybe like September or something to use those. Thank you, Tammy Beans, for the very hugely generous, overwhelmingly generous birthday gifts and card and stuff. And that's not all Tammy sent in the P.O. box. Recently, Tammy sent some adorable. You see Tamma Bean's name? Some adorable bats, because always bat. It's always bat, basically. With some pride flags there. And they're sparkly, too. They're sparkly. They have like a little reflection of light, which makes little rainbow kind of things. They're so cute. There's a small ones or two, and there's some big ones there. And that's not all. Tammy did send more. Tammy's getting carried away. Tammy sent some freeze-dried candies to eat. And as you see right there, Sib and I started to eat it pretty quickly, immediately. Look at all those freeze-dried candies. We already ate quite a few of them already. I also took a picture of what they are, some of them. I flipped them over. And I don't know if I can read it here, but just example, you can see me bending down trying to read it. Dried wild berry Skittles, organic Skittles, chewy Spree. I'm not sure what that is. Let's see here. What else is there? I can't read some of these because the picture's kind of small, but Airheads. What's that one? Starburst. Dried taffy. No, Laffy Taffy, dried Laffy Taffy, lemon head, and sour. I think that's Skittles, possibly Skittles. But yeah, the ones I've eaten so far are very delicious. You love chewy spree? I don't know what it looks like normally. These are freeze dried, so they're like hard, but they're really tasty though. So thank you, Tammy Beans, for the very generous, kind gift for birthday and the card, and also the additional little treats you sent. We love them very much. Thank you. Sorry I can't stay for long tonight, but alas, I must sleep and go. Good night. Paula Beats, good night, little space pigeon. No worries. I understand you have life things to take care of. Thank you for visiting for a little bit. I really appreciate it. What lucky beans? Yeah. Good night, space pigeon. Yeah, good night, space pigeon. Have sweet dreams, all right? Tammy's definitely the favorite auntie. Yeah. Then this was also sent a while ago, I think in June almost, so it's been a while. Werewolf Billy sent me some things. The very cool custom-made stamp of me, and included some fun little stickers. Quality Cuddles is actually who makes Werewolf Billy's designs for patches, and that cool thing like the keychain right there. And that's like, it says Ziggbee on it, and it's very soft and fuzzy. It's fun to touch and stuff. And also they included a cool seals, like wax seals on that little paper, the tissue paper. I forget what it is. Was it a dolphin? I can't see it from very, it looks like a dolphin possibly, or a fish. It's really cute. And also the candy, there was candy in that package, and I kind of ate them all like really fast. They were sour, gummy, watermelon flavor like wedges, and they were very, very good actually. I had a hard time not eating them all super fast. Well, I did eat them pretty fast, but they're so good. I don't know if that brand's around where I am, but that was very good. So thank you, Werewolf Billy, for sending this stuff. Werewolf Billy also had a beautiful handwritten note. I didn't know if we should share it or not, but I always love seeing Werewolf Billy's messages too in notes, because he hand writes it and puts stickers all over the note, and it's adorable and so sweet. But yeah, I want to give a shout out for Billy being a kind of like a almost like a merch partner, essentially making some handcrafted stuff of Ziggbee merch. If anyone doesn't know, if someone watches this VOD later, this is Werewolf Billy's website, An Ocean of Clay. And as you can see, he still has patches available and keychains that are fuzzy, and even custom stamps still, because he makes them occasionally and then offers them for sale. Lastly, wait, is that lastly or is there more? Wait, there's more. What is this? Oh, I did this for fun. See, this is a happy customer, Werewolf Billy. Alencia. I wonder who that is. No, just kidding. Alencia got us, what do you call it? A patch and put it on their denim jacket. So see, happy customer. I thought that was really cool that she put it on her jacket. And lastly, this is the last thing of promotion, basically. Hashtag ad, essentially. Wait, I got a patch from Billy, and it was so well packaged. I know, isn't Billy puts really a lot of care in how he packages stuff, and sometimes put little goodies in there too, like stickers and stuff. Last thing, hashtag ad is my stuff. Sorry it's so bright though, it's kind of bright. I didn't put this officially in the links yet of ziggbee.tv, but there's a web address. I am trying to sell on Etsy now because I'm trying a different provider, and basically, yeah, I'm trying this out, see if it works pretty good. I did order some things from the provider, and they are nice. I got a coffee mug, a t-shirt, and the sticker, and they all came pretty fast too, which is nice. So if you want to check that out, it's on etsy.shop.ziggbee-store. And yeah, that's the current merch that's out right now. I was supposed to have like a gay pride one too, but I didn't have time to put it up. So we're kind of stuck in the spring. We're stuck in the spring collection at the moment. But yeah, that's all that stuff I wanted to show you. I hope it was interesting a little bit. I'm gonna read some of the messages too, because I'm terrible at reading messages. Gotta sleep? Are you Space Pitcher gotta sleep? Let's see here. Good night, a little space pigeon. Ordered a commission from them. Their work is great. Oh, really, Solar? Solar, can you don't have to, but could you show me what they make for you? Because I know Quality Cuddles made a patch for Werewolf Billy. It's this really cool patch that's like for werewolves, and it's like trans werewolf or something. It is so cool looking. But yeah, I was wondering why Billy should sell those too, honestly. Those are really cool patches. Let's see here. We could tell. Foosh. Aw, yeah, Foosh. I can't. Foosh was. Oh yes, was Prince. I can't wait till I get myself some of those keychains. Oh, I hope you do. They're really soft and fuzzy and stuff. And then Miss Jen, I got a patch from Billy. It was so well packaged. Oh, did I read that twice, or did someone else say that too? I got one of the new T-shirts. They're so comfy. Thank you, Atreyu. Thank you for getting a T-shirt. I know when I briefly mentioned it and took it immediately down from another website, 2 people ordered some things, and you might have been one of the people that did it. Got away with sneaking an order really quick. It's cute. Paige Mustang, I got one of the shirts too. Oh, you're the other one possibly. I think it was from the other website. Yeah. Those were still fulfilled by the same provider. I just didn't want to use Shopify. I was like, eh. And Etsy supports the provider, so it should work out pretty good. Solar says, yeah, it's a gift from my friend. I'm tempted to ask them for another. I'll DM it. Oh, I would love to see it. Yeah. Because I think I don't know, but I think their prices are pretty reasonable too. Small says, I'm still waiting you to make the hoodie. It's not too hard to add that if I really wanted to. Do you like a particular color, Small? I worry about it being too expensive though, but I try to get the best prices I can. Hoodie gang. Sky Ziggbee, by the way, forgot to post my progress on Ring Fit. I am so sore and I have to bend down a lot at work, and oh boy, my thighs are on fire. Oh, I'm sorry, Sky. Yeah, that's what happens, because they didn't really design that well, because they have you immediately using your legs to do like squatting a lot. Oh, my legs get cursed when I do that, and it makes you super tired because you do a lot of it. But yeah, I'm sorry you're so sore. But yeah, take several days of rest. Take a lot of days of rest at the first attempt at trying Ring Fit. It's pretty brutal. Spotify merch is sometimes weird. Definitely got to order first and test quality. Yeah, that's true. Well, Spotify was just a hoster, not the provider. But yeah, you don't know sometimes. That's why I try to order some of the things to see what it looks like beforehand. Small says, you said you was going to do it last stream. I'm still waiting. I know I probably will never do it, Small. You got to keep reminding me. Paige Mustang, when I got my Ziggbee shirt, I made sure to soak it in vinegar before washing it instead out, just in case. What's the vinegar for? I'm curious. Does that help or something, or does that test it or something? Wow, Susie Q. Thank you. What are you doing?
Susie just gifted 1 subs.
Thank you, Susie Q, for gifting a sub. And looks like Kitty Goss got it. Congratulations, Kitty Goss. Thank you, Susie Q, for supporting the community and giving out a gifted sub. Miss Janet Snakel says, if you ever need help with templates for merch, I've done graphic design for 15 years. Whoa, that's a long time, Miss Janet. That's a very long time. What was I else having planned? Oh, let's try a story thing really quick too, to show you if you weren't able to catch my TikTok. I'll show you an example of a story. Do we want to pick an animal? Oh, I should actually do a what do you call it? A poll or something. But I'll just. How about a dragon? Cause I'm thinking of Solar. Let's do a dragon one. Wait, did I ever do a dragon one? Why is there an audio? Why is there a person talking to me? I'll go next song. I don't know about this music track, honestly. Let's do a dragon and see what it writes about a dragon. Hopefully it's not like negative propaganda about dragons. Small says red panda. Actually, there was a red panda. We did one with panda, and they included a red panda in the story automatically. Yes, Solar, we're doing a dragon. Let's say, Solar, what? I don't want to like. I should probably know this, but I don't know for sure. I know your scales, colors, and stuff are black. Would you consider yourself a black dragon, or do you have a specific species name that you are? I'm curious. Let's hope it's not negative. I know. Hopefully won't be, though. Would you consider yourself a black dragon, a solar? Or is there another unique kind of dragon? I know Toothless, which is similar in look sometimes. I don't know if Toothless would be considered a black dragon. If you don't know for sure, that's alright. I'll just put dragon in there by... Oh, I could probably say name solar too. Let me I'm celestial dragon. Oh, those are very fancy dragons. So black is the most common color, but I shift colors depending on the form. So you know celestial dragons, if I remember correctly from D&D, is it celestial dragons? There's dragons that live in the astral sea, and they're very powerful. They're very powerful, and they can basically breathe on you and make you very not smart. And then you can't move in the astral sea. Because you need thought power to move around in the astral sea typically. I'm a beta dragon scale. I don't know what a beta dragon is. But I'll try to use celestial, okay? I'll try to use celestial dragon. I'll call it solar. Hopefully I can spell it correctly. Well, you put it right there, actually. Let's see here. Can I copy this? I'll just copy, just be lazy and copy it. Celestial dragon, copy. Put this in over, where is it? Over here. Paste that. Named. Oops. Named. Solar. Tell me a story about a celestial dragon named Solar. Okay, let's give that a try and see what happens. Here we go. You ready? It's still making. I'll wait till it finishes making it. Incoming ad break? What do you mean incoming ad break? Ad starts in 4 minutes. Let's snooze that if we can. Additional 5 minutes to snooze it. That's good. Ziggbee, can you teach me more things about the D&D world for 2nd edition? Oh, I don't know very much about 2nd edition. I just have 5e a little bit. That's about it. The other editions are very complicated, I would imagine. Yes, that is correct. Hate them pancakes. Let's give it a try. You ready? Let's give this story a try. To give you an example of what I was doing on TikTok last night. Might change the music. I'll keep it as is. Hey, where'd I put it? Oh, sorry, I'm yelling. Okay, ready? Okay. Legend tells of a time when the universe was shrouded in endless darkness. A celestial dragon named Solar was the only creature in this desolate universe. Solar was blessed with shimmering gold scales that glowed faintly in the dark. He had immense power and a heart as vast as a cosmos, but he felt lonely and yearned to bring light and life to the universe. Solar embarked on a draining journey, venturing through the cosmic void, drawing from his internal reservoir of warmth and energy. He decided to create the stars one by one. He breathed life into the darkness, lighting up the universe with stars shimmering with his own golden light. He worked tirelessly, his determination unwavered, until every corner of the universe was filled with twinkling celestial bodies. When Solar had filled the universe with light, he used his last of his energy to create the most radiant star, the sun. Exhausted, he nestled into the sun's warmth and comforting glow, transforming himself into its core. As the creatures evolved on Earth, they gazed at the sun in awe and gratitude, telling tales of the glorious celestial dragon named Solar. His majestic legacy became a beacon of life and hope. And also, it's going to try to do a moral. Let's see what the moral it comes up with. The moral of the story is, great sacrifices may often be needed to bring light into the world, but such acts of generosity leave a legacy that shine eternally. Wow, that's a pretty heavy story. But a beautiful one nonetheless. What do you think, Solar? Was that pretty impressive? Did you bring your light into the universe and create all that stuff? That's actually very nice. Yeah, that is actually the most impressive story so far out of the several that we did. Thank you all. What's that? When I'm on TLC orders with dice, I will quote you all. So that's so cool. Wait, what am I missing? I think I'm missing some kind of context. Let's see here. Set of 7, all different types. How many dice does one need for D&D? I feel like I lose them. Oh, you need several. You need like, how many is it? 1, 2, I forget how many, but 7, they answered it already. You're a dice goblin? It's hard not to be a dice goblin, honestly, because dice are fun to own, kind of like treasure. Let me go to my original list here. Where is it? I'm not even logged in, oh. Let me just stop the music there. Let me find something new entirely. Let's see. We'll go into where is it? I don't know. I'll have to type it actually. Oh no, there it is. Let's go into my old list I used to use. It's probably still here somewhere. Or not. Oh, it was that one. Nintendo, chill Nintendo music. Let's try that. Okay, we'll try that. I don't know where this will go, but we'll try it. Are we ready to do Ziggbee? My break is almost over and I have to get back to work, but it was fun being able to stop by for a bit. Definitely Atreyu, thank you for stopping by. I hope work goes by quickly and you can get some time off to relax and stuff. Peaches, peaches, peaches. Perhaps one version of me did so in another dimension. I do help them with life changes. Oh my gosh, it's cute. I see little emotes jumping on the screen. A dimensional phoenix, if you will. It does seem like a phoenix, honestly, yeah. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Oh, that music's kind of loud, sorry. I have it set to like max, no wonder it's like going on in the red. Okay, let's see if we can get the word game working. Hopefully it works. Let me connect to it. Okay, let's see here. You want to go to... okay, this might be a little bit more challenging. It's gonna be like charades. I don't know if I'll draw them, but yeah, let me grab a pencil too. I want to draw the words. For fun. To get like a word list, just for fun, to see all the diverse words we get. Okay, you ready? Hopefully this works. Hopefully this works. Let me check it in chat just one more time before I start. Okay, here we go. The music was so loud I could feel my brain cells. I'm sorry, Small. Okay, Small. Listen, if you're gonna talk trash to me, I'm gonna talk trash to you. Your sound alerts on your stream are very loud. Okay. You were talking trash? Then either am I. I'm not talking trash either. I'm just telling you stuff. Okay, let's give this a try, right? I edited my sound alerts. Thank you, Small. Thank you for editing your sound alerts. Okay, first word. Okay, I'm gonna say things about not the actual word, hopefully. Okay, here we go. Let's give this a try. Start the round. Hopefully this works too. Are we good? Okay. Okay. I'm a little bear. I like to eat these sandwiches. I will spread it on the sandwiches and eat them. I'm a little bear that talks with I think a raincoat. That's my favorite thing to eat. I put it on bread and eat it. What is it? I'm a well-known bear. I'm a character in a story. Very small bear. Wear a raincoat, possibly a rain hat too. I put it on my bread. It's my favorite kind of sandwich and my favorite kind of thing to use. Wait, did anyone say it yet? Not the bear, not Paddington Bear. I can say everything except the word. Someone got it. I should have just said I'm Paddington Bear. I didn't know the name of the bear. I'm Paddington Bear. I love to eat this. It's my favorite thing in the world to eat. Bark? What? Are you barking at me? The answer is that correct, marmalade? Marmalade! I believe a Paddington Bear loves to eat marmalade sandwiches. I'm pretty sure. That's our first word. I'll put it over here. Let's see. Oh, can I put it right here? Marmalade. 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 Okay. Let's see how we did on that one. Show me the round scores for marmalade. We have like 13 words to get through. We have Lolly Loser. Good job. You got it really quick. Tatum Pancakes. Very sharp. You got it immediately too. The music is still like super loud. I'm sorry. Music, you need to calm down. There we go.
Anastasia Rose 2000 just resubscribed for 11 months. Gloria. Platonically.
I need to read your message. I'm trying. The music's like going over it really loud too. Anastasia Rose says, love you platonically. Oh, thank you. Love you platonically too. Thank you for resubscribing and using your Prime and being subscribed for 11 months. Thank you. We also have Unknown Muse on there, second place, and also Peach Ring Rat. Good job. Also honorable mentions, Solar and Paige Mustang. Next word. Let's see here. Hide that. Next prompt. Okay. Start the round. I'm a lumberjack. I have this with me probably, but I'm an old school lumberjack. Or if you think of Werewolf Billy, I like to dual wield these. Or if you're Sibant, my husband, you're pretty good at throwing them at that game at Dave & Buster's. I think a lot of you got that. Show me the score for the answer, which is axe. We got quite a few, 10 of you got it. First place, 2 people. Tatum Pancake high on there too. So Tatum, I think you're ahead so far. We have Solar first place on that word as well. We have Paige Mustang second place, and third place is Small. Good job, Small. Hide that. I'm gonna write this word there too. Let's see what. Let's see. That's the next word. Axe. Do I know how to spell axe? There we go. I'll put it right there. Axe. Axe body spray. No, just kidding. I love that. Next word. Let's see our next prompt. Hopefully I know what this is. Start the round. Starting the round. Okay. I'm a school teacher. I have a paper. I need to make more of these paper. I don't use the typical term. I don't know why I don't use a typical term, but I need to make copies, but I'm not going to say copy. I'm going to say it this way. Because I'm old school. It's the first company to kind of make copy machines. What am I? Or what is the word? Show me the word. Show me the round for that. The answer is Xerox. And we have a couple people there. Does anyone know what Xerox is? I think it stands for copier, right? That's like the first company that started making copies and stuff. Photocopy. Oh, they may say photocopy too, don't they? I remember teachers saying like, I gotta Xerox it. Or did they say photocopy? Or something. Maybe I got that wrong, but yeah. First place is Miss Janet. Second place is Paige. And third is Bingus. Good job. Hide the scores. Xerox. I think Xerox is maybe possibly like a word like Kleenex. Because Kleenex, never mind, I won't just, I'm gonna sound like a teacher or something. I'm not a teacher. A kind of a teacher. Xerox. All right. I spelled Xerox machine. That technically should have counted. I'm sorry. I didn't put machine in there. I just kept Xerox. I spelled it wrong. Yeah, it is a hard one. Some things will be hard though. Finally being old pays off. It sometimes does, honestly. It sometimes really does. Okay, start the round. Okay. I'm a nut. I'm in the shape of a brain. I have good what, omega-3s? I'm in the shape of a pituitary gland, I believe. Is it pituitary gland? I don't know. Well, the shape of a brain, basically. And I'm a nut. What am I? Woo! Woo! The answer is walnut. If you look at a walnut, it looks kind of like a brain. It does have good omega-3s, I believe, as well. Let's put this up higher. Let's see. Walnut. There we go. Show me the score for walnut. A lot of you got that one. That's cool. 14 of you got that correct. We have first place Paige Mustang, Petrie Rat, second place. Third place we have Solar. Solar is getting back up there, I think, competing with Tatum Pancake. Very impressive. Hi, the score. Let me check chat just briefly, see how y'all doing. See how y'all doing. How y'all doing? But I need some sweet tea. Just joking. Do you realize that's not... Wait. That I didn't know that nut is censored. Is it really censored? Apparently nuts are very bad. Can I undo that censor? It doesn't... Are you serious or are you tricking me? It might be... No, it's... Small just said nut right now. I didn't see it show up on Automod. Yeah, I didn't see it either, actually. It wasn't... We got no prompt. Okay. Next word. Next prompt. Okay, start the round. Start the round. Okay. Let's see here. I don't want to make it too easy. I don't... should I make it easy? This. I'm also a noodle sometimes, and I come in this shape. What am I? Sometimes a noodle is shaped like a... I'm gonna also test. We did only 4. This would be the 5th word. I want to see if this total score is being kept track of, and also I'm curious where everyone stands, because we don't usually do this many words. The answer is elbow, which I was pointing at, and also there is a pasta called elbow pasta. I believe it's called elbow pasta or something like that. Macaroni? Well, macaroni is kind of like elbow pasta. Bow tie? Small, I saw that. What did Small do? Okay, show me the round scores for that one, and I want to see the total scores to make sure it's keeping track. First place for that one is 2 people, Bingus and Solar. Second place we have Unknown Muse, and third place we have Small. Good job. Very good job. Hide the scores. Let me show the game scores. This is the total so far running. Tatum is ahead. Actually, there's a tie. I did not expect this. There's a tie between Tatum Pancakes, Paige Mustang. Unknown Muse is very, very close behind. Not far behind is also Solar. Bingus has a chance. And everyone still has a great chance to get ahead if you keep trying, because there's quite a few more words to go, okay? I just want to make sure it's keeping track of the total. And that word was elbow. Elbow. Cool. Cool beans. Dang, Tatum and Paige killing. Yeah, they really are. It's okay. There's a lot more words to go. Okay, next word. Let's see here. Next prompt. Start the round. I'm gonna have a hard time describing this one. Okay. If I want to say small or little in my username, I might use these 3 letters. Okay. That's not the entire answer. That's the first part of it. I am a flower. I am a flower. Does that help, or is that not? Is that not? I'm a flower. That's kind of like a code. Is that not? Does that make sense? Some of you got it, so you know what I was trying to say, basically. Definitely code. So it says Lily. Lily is what I was going for. I believe that's a flower, unless I'm misreading things. And sometimes people put L-I-L in their username to be little, to say they're little or small, I believe. Is that correct? I think that's correct. I hope that's correct. Well, some of you got it, so it must be semi-correct. Let me see the round score for Lily. First place, Bingus. First place also Paige Mustang. Unknown as Muse, third place. And oh no, second place. Oh gosh, I'm messing that all up. Third place is Solar. Solar got the code. Let me get that up there too. How many words are we through already? It's gonna be a total of 13. Lily. Lily. Can you even see that? I guess it's okay. You know it's Lily, right? Okay, we're almost halfway through. I thought it'd be fun to do a longer one because I've been away for so long. Next word, next prompt. Start the round. This is an easy one. Roar. Roar. I'm a cat, but I'm in the king of the jungle. What am I? Roar. Oh, I got a, what do you call it? Something in my paw. Ouch. From that story, I'm that creature. Roar. 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 It's lion, king of the jungle, lion. And they also go roar. And there's a story about a lion getting a, I forget what it is, like something stuck in their paw and a mouse helps them. Wait, is that a tiger? What story is that? Was that a lion in that story? I think it was a lion. I'm pretty sure it was a lion. Show me the round scores for lion. You lying to me? First place is Taylor. Second place is Catita. Wait, I might be reading your name way wrong. Sorry if I am. Your second place, and also second place is Paige Mustang, and third place is Ben Bama. Bama? Did I read that right? Brenda Ma. Okay, I think it's Brenda Ma, actually. I'm seeing some new names I don't think I say commonly. Thank you for playing this game. Hi, the scores. Okay. Where do I put this one? I'll put it down here. It is lion. I ain't lying. Sometimes I want to switch the I know. I gotta look at the word just in case, especially since I'm streaming, so I could be distracted. Lion. Thank you for the follow too, who just followed me right now. Okay, next word. We'll also check on the grand total after this word too. Next prompt. Start the round. Okay. I'm a farmer. It's that time again. I gotta do this. It's the time to do this. I don't want to make it too easy. Let me go. Let me get to work. Let me get to work. Oh, okay, I need to get all this stuff ready. Okay, I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna do all this, okay? It's that time. That probably wasn't the best thing to say or do. Harvest. Farmers must harvest their crops every so often. Probably wasn't the best example. Let's see it. I guess I'll say how good I did based on how many people got it. Show me the round scores for harvest. A lot of you got it, so I did a good job. First place for that is 2 people, Paige Mustang and Tatum Pancake. Second place, there's a couple of you, Petring Rat, Small, Alex the Yeet. Hello, Alex, welcome. Third place is Solar. You ready to take a peek at the total score? What do you think is ahead right now? It's probably Tatum. Oh, I don't know. Paige, I always just default to Tatum. Does anyone know who? Sow's a good answer too. Sow the seeds, the plant, make the plants grow and stuff. Let's see. John made the grand score. This is not the end though. This is like halfway point. How many words do we do? Quite a few. I need to write that word too. I don't have to, but it's fun though. Harvest. I'll put it up really high. Harvest. Harvest. There we go. Put it way up there. That's 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 words. How much is that? I think we're halfway or more than halfway. Show me the game scores. Oh my gosh. Paige Mustang has a significant lead so far. Not a huge lead. You can get first place and get up there really quick. That's like 15 points first place for a word. So we have Paige Mustang still at the top. Tatum Pancake right behind. Also right behind is Unknown Muse. And also there is Solar. Bingus is close. Small's not too far behind. And so on. You still have a chance. If you get a couple first place on these, you get huge points. Huge points. Okay, let's hide the scores. Next prompt. Start the round. I'm a bird. Who? I'm a bird. Who? I'm a bird. I can turn my head almost completely around and see things. I like to hang out at night and make noise a lot. Who does that? Who makes those noises at night? Robin Crow? The answer is owl. Commonly known that owls do go hoo, hoo, hoo. Well, not like that, but they go hoo, hoo late at night. They also can turn their head around really far, which is really impressive. Show me the round scores for owl. Lottie, you got that one too. That's awesome. Anastasia Rose, first place on that. Also first place is Peachring Rat. Some of you are going to start getting some good points from being first place on that. Solar's second place, so Solar's probably pushing ahead as well. Paige Mustang, also second place, and also Bingus second place. Third place for that would be Alex Yeen. Alex Yeen, good job. It's hard to guess these sometimes and be fast. Plus, I'm not sure where we're streaming. We're streaming from, probably the States, and you're far away. I don't know if that latency probably has a little bit of effect, unfortunately. Go ahead and hide that. Let's check out the. I'll write this one down too. Okay, Al. I think we're almost to the end here, right? Let's see here. Yeah, we're almost there. We have about 4 more, I think, to go. 4 more. Y'all have a pretty good chance to get ahead if you want. Hopefully you're enjoying this too. This is a little bit different than what I usually do. Next prompt. Start the round. Okay. There's typically multiple me, part of a house. You can see through me and enjoy, the outside while being inside. What am I? What am I? I'm almost making it sound like a riddle, but it's not quite a riddle. Is that a riddle, actually? I don't know. I'm part of a house. There's typically multiple of me. You can see through me to see outside while you're inside. What am I? Window. I guess I could have said, like, I'm the dominant program on all PCs. That would be actually Windows, though. That's plural. Let's see how many got that right. Is anyone upset about this yet? I swear it would be is if there wasn't a S at the end. I did say I, like singular. Right? Does that count? Does that save me at all? Show me the round scores for Window. Anastasia Rose again getting a first place word there. Being a second place, and also Lolly Loser also second place. Third place we have 2 people, Solar and Brenda. Wait, is that D? No, that's B. Brembama. How do I say your name? I might miss it though. I'm so sorry. I can't read names very good. Good job, everybody. We only have a couple more, about 3 more words, I think. I put Windows and then window afterwards just in case. That's a good idea. I sometimes forget about the plural. But you said many. That is true. That's my fault then. If I do a bad job of describing the word, that's part of the challenge, right? See, I'm making excuses. Is it working? Next prompt. I gotta put window down too. Window. 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 Put an S at the end to make people mad. All right, ready? Start the round for the next word. Let's see here. Start the round. Okay, ready? You have a delicious Thanksgiving meal, or you have a large, delicious family meal. I'm gonna take the food I didn't eat, and I'm gonna put it in the fridge. What is it? What are those? What is that food called? Is that too easy? That's probably too easy. Well, got a big food. I got leftovers. Uh-oh. Oh, I just said the word. Well, to be fair, someone guessed it already, so it's one word. All these are one words. I'm not doing spacing. No space gate today. No space, so people are gonna be mad about this. Let's see how many got it right though. Probably not a lot. Show the round scores. Oh no, that's not good. Okay, is there typically a space in leftovers? I feel like we're gonna get like a little bit of heat for this. First place for that is Peachring Rat. Also, we have Axolade. Hello, Axolade. Paige Mustang is also first place there. Second place, we have Anastasia Rose. And then third place is... Is it Kata? Katata? I'm saying your name way wrong. I'm foaming at the mouth. Tatum Pancake, calm down. You need to calm down, okay? You're probably almost first place, okay, Tatum? Left. I'm not gonna put space in here. Left over. I just put over, actually, leftover. Oh, I did that wrong. See, again, that's a challenge. That's a challenge. I'll try to be more mindful if it's plural or not, okay? I'm sorry. We never played this way, like, at least not recently. I love the way you say catatooth. I don't know how to say that. Tooth? Catatooth? It's probably a regular name and I just don't know how to say it correctly. Use any of the following commands for link. Oh, that's the stream elements. Feral noises. No, don't be feral, everybody. Calm down. Everyone calm down. Next word. How far are we in this? We have 2 more words, I think. Ready? Sounds like Christmas. What? It sounds like Christmas music we're listening to. Next prompt. Okay. Start the round. Okay. I'm gonna try to make the sound of the animal, but I haven't done it in many years, and it might be very loud. Let me see if I can do. Maybe I should turn my audio down. I can't. No fair, someone's already guessed. Wait. You know, I used to be able to make that sound. Let me try again. Yeah, the answer is elephant. It's elephant. Oh, my sides. No, I guess I can't make this. Can't make the sound anymore. You're supposed to put like your upper lip over your bottom lip or something and you blow. I'm sorry, I'm snorting now too. The answer is elephant. Let's see how we did. Good job for knowing what that is, even though I couldn't make the actual sound. A few you got it. Tatum Pancake first place, and also Lolly Loser first place, and Catatooth. Second place is Unknown Muse, and third place is Soul Sorrows. Good job. Good job, Solar. Alrighty, I think this is the last word. Oh, I see Costume One on there too. Good job, Costume One, for getting in there. Also, oh, Alexine got in there. Miss Janet got in there. Good job, good job. Hide the scores. I believe this is the last word of the evening. Are you ready? Are you ready? I still don't know who's gonna win, really, because I don't know. I'm not keeping track. Sounds like a fart. Okay. Okay, no, that was what I was going for, Miss Janet. But yes, it did actually sound kind of like that, honestly. That's true. And think you could have just said Dumbo. That is, yeah. I didn't think about that. But yeah, that would have been way easier. You're right. Let me write that down too. The elephant. the elephant I couldn't make the sound of. I'll have to practice to see if I can even do it anymore. Elephant. 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 Oops, that's an H. Ant. There's an ant at the end of elephant. There's like hidden words and things sometimes. Ant. Is there any other hidden words in there? No. I found ant. Oh, walnut. In walnut, there's the word nut. Okay, anyway, sorry, I'm getting distracted. There's a lot of words up here. Okay, last one. Ready? Okay, here we go. I'm nervous. I don't know why I'm nervous. You're all playing. I'm not really playing, but I'm still nervous. Next prompt. Start the round. Okay. I feel like. Wait. Give me a moment. Sometimes there's stuff with cheese. It's Italian food. It's a pasta. You can get it in a can. It's called blank something. But yeah, it's like you can have. They're squares. They're sometimes filled with cheese, sometimes with meat. And there's a can. There's a brand that actually is called blank. What am I? Not spaghetti. It's ravioli. Ravioli. All these words are not too hard to spell and stuff. I keep using an S. I'm sorry, Tatum. I'm sorry. I forgot to look at if it was plural or not. What is Fuller saying? Let me go back to normal chat for a moment. Canned ravioli never has enough cheese to be tasty. Yeah, that's not particularly yummy, honestly. Was it Alfredo? I guess it doesn't really count. Hot Pockets? No, if the word was Hot Pockets, I would say, what is a little pocket with food that you gotta let cool off because it's lava inside? If you eat too many, maybe you'll make your back hurt. Hot Pockets. Make sure you have some TP because who knows? Hot Pockets. Yeah, what is it called? Gaffigan? There's a comedian that made a whole like set about Hot Pockets making fun of him. Yeah, I love him. That's it, Jim Gaffigan. He did a whole set on Hot Pockets making fun of it. Okay, ready for the let's see here. Hot Pocket. Let me write down this word and find out the grand winner of today. Ravioli. Ravioli. Give me some of that ravioli. Ravioli. Okay. Show me the round score for ravioli. First place is Anastasia Rose, being very strong. You got on the top place quite a few times there. You might be pushing ahead there a little bit. Bingus, second place, and third place, two people, Small, and Bama. I'll have to learn those two words. Yes. The scores. Are you all ready? You all ready for this? Dun, 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 dun. So many typos. Wait, what do you mean? Oh, and people guessing and stuff? OMG, I love it. No, I'm not ready. Please explain the back thing. I'm so confused. What back thing? Oh, I heard one said if you eat Hot Pockets, some person I once read their back hurts. Eat Hot Pockets. Like it's so unhealthy, it's causing like different side effects that are unhealthy to you. Oh my gosh. Let's see who the grand winner today. I'm not sure what title you should have because it's not technically Pictionary. It could be charades or something. It'd be probably a new title. Who is the grand winner of today on this very long word list? Longest list I think we've ever done of anything. Show me the game scores for this odd game we're playing. Oh my gosh, the points never been so high. First place is Paige Mustang. Big claps. Big claps, Paige Mustang. You lasted this whole time. You got a huge lead too there. Congratulations to Paige Mustang for being this impromptu, I don't know, is this called impromptu? Almost like charades, kind of almost like riddle, I don't know. Game we played. Second place, we have Solar, very impressive, and also Tatum Pancakes, third place. Good job. I'll also read all the names as honorable mentions. We have Bingus, Unknown Muse, Lolly Loser, Small, Catatut, Petring Rat, Anastasia Rose, Miss Janet Snakehole, Alex Sayeen Taylor, Bryn Bama, Axolate, Flame, Flamboyant, Friend. Oh, I like that. It's cute. Costumed One, and Gamer Kitten. 1095. Congratulations to Paige Mustang. I think I'm gonna have to make a new title for this because this is a new game that we played. But yeah, I hope you did. You find that fun, everybody? Did you like that kind of game, or was that like eh? Do you prefer Pictionary? I don't care where I am as long as you are for. Oh my gosh, you two have such a like a rival going on all the time. What is up with that, Small and Tatum? You gotta be friends. Gotta be friends. I guess you like the drama a little bit. I think it's just playful. Felt more competitive somehow. It did. It did feel pretty intense a little bit. Maybe because there's more words and maybe it's I don't know if it's easier or more fun this way. Like in a good way. Yeah, it seemed more fun. I bet you too, Muse. Wait, what did Muse say? Dang, Tatum, you lost. Trash talking. Yeah, there's definitely this competition going on. You also love drama? A little bit, yes. The S things make me want to scream. I'll have to try to keep that in mind. Oh, I'm going to forget, honestly. I'm probably going to forget next time. But yeah. But wasn't that weird? I did a new game and I chose like a lot of words and I wrote them down. That's weird. Is that weird? Is that weird at all? You ever notice when things are unusual? Oh, you know, I just had a random thought. You ever watch a show? This was fun. I'm glad. You ever watch a show or watch TV or like YouTube and you like watch a few seconds of it, like the first part of it really quick, and then turn to the next channel and try to see what the next person says, and turn to the next channel and see if like you can get like a different message or something just for fun? That's like a random thought. It was so much fun. I'm glad you enjoyed that, Taylor. We'll probably do it again. Oh my gosh, me too. That's Vtuber Ziggbee. Maybe it's a little bit of divination, huh? It's fun to do these things. Like you kind of look in the words and stuff sometimes too. Like, is there things like what is this? What if you find other things in the words? But anyways, yeah, I'll go ahead. Oh, you know what's funny? Like this is like says, what is that? Like if you read the first letters, it'd be like Max or something. That's like Max. I don't know. Maximum power. Okay, where's the eraser at? Okay. All right. Well, I hope that was fun, everybody. I hope that was fun for you. Oh, redeems, right? Thank you for telling me about redeems. Yeet redeems. We'll have to go somewhere else for that. Oh, it gives me an opportunity to show my splash screen. Splash screen that Solar made for me. Ready? We'll go to a place that I can yeet things. Which place should I go to? I can go to the rooftop place. The rooftop place, possibly? I don't know. That's small. That's still, yeah, what is it? Yeah, I don't know what that means but yeah, let's go to a place where I can eat stuff. Okay, we're gonna eat stuff. I'll go to probably the rooftop place, maybe, because they do have pillows for sure. I can eat there. Worlds I've been to recently, we'll go to Midnight Rooftop. I might look different there because their lighting's a little bit different though. Invite, let's go. Oh, I gotta put this, do I have the sign up here? Let me go to the other one, oops. Where is it? Oh, where is it? No, I can't find it. Did I put it on here? I thought I did. Where's the be right back? Oh, is this it? No, that's the old one. Wait, which mode am I in? This is TikTok I'm in. There we go, okay, that's correct. And then, be right back. Oh, there we go. There we go. Now we're talking. There we go. Debbie, do you feel like dancing a little at the end? I could try to dance a little tiny bit, yeah. Dancing a little bit. What did it say? It gave me a message. This is a private instance, right? Go to the top floor where the pillows are. Oh, what do you think of like the be right back? Is that pretty cool? Love it? Okay, I'll put the camera up really quick. Over here. Camera, stay still. There we go. Bonus points if you know where I got this concept from. All right, there we go. It's kind of dark a little bit. It's a little bit dark. Is that okay? It's a little bit darker here. I guess that's fine. More cozy and comfy with a warm light. But yeah, Solar made that for me. Why did you left the shapes in default black? Listen, Solar, I put it up really quick. You do give me the freedom to change it to different colors and stuff, which I really appreciate. I can like keep changing it to the background and the text, which I appreciate. You give it to me in layers and stuff, which I really love. So thank you again, Solar, for providing that. I'm almost like, let me put it up just again really quick. I almost wonder if I want to make it turn rainbows or something. I don't know. Or it just might be fun to change it occasionally, different colors. I really like it though. Thank you, Solar, for making that for me and doing commissions and stuff. Let's see here, rainbow. By the way, I need to take a picture and share it on the Discord, but Rosa has a new fancy collar. Wait, Rosa, do you have a collar? Oh, you mean actual Rosa. I was like, they didn't update this place. What do you mean? Did they put a collar on the plushie thing here? The squishies? All right, let's eat though. Before I do, Strawberry, are you still here? I don't want to just yeet and you're not even here to enjoy the eating. I'll wait for Strawberry to reply if you're still here by chance. I don't think I see you commented for a while. Strawberry, I summon you! Someone wants me to do a dance? I'll do a little bit dance. More like rock back and forth. Small wants me to yeet? Okay, I'll yeet Small. I mean, I'm not gonna literally yeet you, Small. I mean, I'm gonna yeet for you, Small. There you go, ready? Behold! Gotta do this right, gotta hold the edges, it helps. For Small! Double yeet! Thank you, Small. I guess I'll refund Strawberry. I don't think they're still here, unfortunately. But I will take your point, Small. Thank you for that. All right, everybody. That's about it. What should I do? I can do a little dance, a little bit better dancing. What do you mean, no, Small? What's wrong? No, I'm not gonna eat Small. Oh my gosh. Alex, I'm not gonna eat innocent little Small. Wee. Dun, 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 dun. What is that? Hydrate. Thank you, Solar. Actually, I'm kind of thirsty. I didn't drink this entire time. Let me go and drink some water really quick. Thank you, Solar. I forgot about that. I was gonna drink after stream anyway, but I'll just do it right now. Delicious. I have a little bit more actually. Well, can I just say too, I really love your emotes. They're really adorable. And I saw you added a new sticker. Well, I told you too, but I'm telling everybody here too. If you join Solsaros' Discord, you can get access to more emojis and stickers that are adorable. I think you can get their Discord that's on, you have a link in your Twitch bio, Solar? I'm guessing. But yeah, it's really adorable. Keep adding stickers. You have so many emotes. You should make them all stickers, but you don't have to though, but they're really cute. LOL, if you have ideas for emotes or stickers, feel free to let me know. You already have some really cool ones. Like the treasure chest is awesome. I don't know about the bonk. I'm a little concerned that people want to bonk you. Bonk you on the head. I don't know about that. Can only make 5 stickers on a non. Oh, I see. I'm spoiled. I'm sorry. I guess I'm very spoiled. I get so many boosts on my server. All the stickers. You want to eat me, boing. Boo. You want to be eaten small? My goodness. Okay, everybody, before I go, I will give you beans, a hug if you want, and maybe some grunty kicks, and maybe some struts, and then I can do zoomies away, okay? Here's my beans. First of all, here's my beans. Congratulations to Paige Mustang, too. Here's my beans. And a hug if you want. Come here. Come here. Only if you want. Only if you want. There you go. I'll give you hugs. There you go. Very proud of all of you. Thank you for all being supportive of this content and each other. It really makes me happy. You're all so sweet and nice. Okay. Also, do grunty kicks? Can I kick? Okay. I'll do grunty kicks. That's like an exercise, actually. That's pretty good exercise. I could do struts too. I have lots of room for it too. Okay. There's more redeemed. What's the question? Answer. The question, Axolotl, can I eat small? Well, small gives permission. Technically, I could. Yes. But small's not here right now. If small joins you, sometimes I want it to be yeeted. I can try to yeet them. I don't know how to yeet people, though. I think you need special ability to do that, right? What? All right, everybody. I'm gonna head out for the evening. Have a great rest of the week. Have a good weekend if you're off and stuff. Try to stay cool, of course. And I'll see you again hopefully sometime soon, all right? Bye, everybody. I hope you had fun. Bye, I love you. Platonically, of course. I'm gonna zoomies. Sorry. Goodbye, everybody. Thank you for hanging out.